The South African National Cross Country Bike Action is proudly brought to you by Pepson Plastics and Yamaha. So this was it, the venue for the opening round of the 2020 tour. Lesotho and the Maluti Mountains, hopefully the lowlands, would be the host of the flat-out racing for the first day and first round of off-road and cross-country racing action. The locals were definitely in for a treat, and the riders were as well. Look at that grass and the loam. It was going to be primo, perfect conditions to drop the hammer and go racing. There'd been a lot of chopping and changing in the off-season as well, and we were lucky enough to go down and catch up with a couple of the key players and see how they were feeling coming in to the new tour. Not just a rider, but an organizer as well. We chatted to Sharon.
Yeah, look, it's very difficult. I won't lie. I think I bit off more like a chew deciding to race and committing to the championship and hosting it. But we've got a good team at Live Lesotho. Everyone else has stepped up to take in the gap that I obviously filled. So confident in what they can do, and through Altus as the route director and the whole family being involved with it, I think we can pull it off. So it's exciting from an organizing standpoint and from a racing standpoint. It's Lesotho. I love it. It's my home. I grew up riding here, so looking forward to riding in the mountains.
And last year's high school champion, former Mr. 125, now onto the OR3s.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I love riding my 250 and I love Lesotho, so hopefully it'll come together, and I'm looking forward to it today.
And reigning OR2 champion who stays on the box, Jazz Kutsia.
Yeah, we finished off really strong last year, and we managed to snatch the title out of the jaws of defeat. So I was really stoked with that. But ultimately, it motivated me for this year, and we're carrying a bit of momentum coming into this year. Not quite the number one. I got the second overall last year, so not too much weight on my shoulders. But obviously, the target's on my back for this year in the class. But I'm expecting a challenge from all the boys. The Brett Swanepoel's back, as well as Gareth Cole. So it's going to be a challenge out there, and I'm expecting a fight.
Brad Cox nailed down his number one plate last year. He was looking for more again.
We've done good preparation this off-season, and I've got a great team behind me, the Brother Leadership KDM team, and I think I'm on the best bike, so ready to get this this year started, and I'm excited for today. I love Lesotho. It just feels like the other day we were here with the roof, so looking forward to the day.
The briefing was going to be interesting as well. Everyone was told how the laps and how the racing was going to run. It was definitely going to be more technical than the flat-out races from the past, and the medics were key as well, as in these open mountains, survival was going to be paramount. The riders tuned in, and you could see they were a little bit worried. Altus had laid out a perler, but it was going to be definitely a lot of up and downs, technical, and a lot less fifth gear pinned than the riders were used to.
At the back, you're going to go on top of that bridge. There is a bit of
the time trial was going to be an epic start as well. 200 meters out the gate, and you went up the Widowmaker. It was going to be spectacular for the riders and spectators alike. Even though the course was marked, it was going to be GPS as well. So a couple of riders, it was going to be new school racing. Sharon Mill was the first rider to go out there, and hopefully his local knowledge would help him out. One or two riders would try and tag onto the back wheel of the big guy. Remember, it was Sharon who took the final win of 2019, so he's coming into this round with a lot of momentum. The first climb up the Widowmaker told the rest of the riders whether they could hit it pinned in third or whether they had to dance all the way up on the revs in second. Cole, a rider from KZN, would have felt very at home in this terrain. He was very sad about losing his championship at the end of 2019 on the flatlands of Gauteng. So back into the mountains, feeling a little bit more KZN. And good about the project. Jason Fender had just come off his first ever GXCC win 1 week earlier, so it was going to be a big threat in the OR2 gate going forward into the rest of this tour. As some of the pros went up the Widowmaker, down in the pits, Ian Pepper shared his thoughts about the event.
Well, I don't know. I didn't sign up for the Roof of Africa. If I get up there without stalling or making a football of myself, I'll be quite happy.
I think a lot of the flat-out riders were very concerned about how technical the track was going to be. The time trial was laid out as a relatively short one, 30 kilometers, but with an average speed of probably under 30 kilometers an hour, it was certainly going to be a hard start to proceedings. We caught up with reigning Masters champion, one of the old schoolers, Wayne Farmer.
No, very different, and yeah, talk about we're used to this. I haven't done tech for about 2 years now, so we're going to be in for a big shocker. 200 meters from the start now. So yeah, let's all wake up very quickly.
Wayne always valve bouncing straight out the gate. Darren Gray had made the move across onto the Yamahas, moving on to the 2020 Tour. So he was on the 250 smoker and would definitely be a big threat in the support classes as he eased his way up the big mountain. For D. Gray, traction on the Yami is not a problem. So Pepper eyed up how everyone was approaching it, and this was his chance to try and just run clean. For Pepper, he just wanted to crest the Widowmaker and carry on the rest of his day. Remember, Pepper is a former motocross champ from back in the day, and for the last couple of seasons been finding his feet on the off-road tours. He didn't want to go all the way up in the mountains. For him, he wanted to go flat out. Slightly offline at the top of the ridge there, he was going to have another bite of the cherry. He at least got out of the gate though, some riders lining up and discovering lastminute.com punches, and it was all hands on deck before the rider could swing a leg. One or two more riders at the top of the Widowmaker, looked like it was Veinard Dalport and Harry Krobler, joined Pepper, and one by one they made it up. The locals though said, we could have cleaned that easy. You don't go left, you go straight. Come the end of time trial though, we started to see the riders coming in one by one. It had taken them a long time as well for a 30k loop, but at least they had a little bit more idea of what the rest of the day was going to hold, how to set up their bikes, maybe change a click here and there on the suspension, and get locked and loaded. Everyone was here for the beginning of the 2020 Tour to get as many points on the plate as possible. Join us after the break as we move forward into the full race format.